Whether you're an artist or not, I think we can all agree it is hard work to accomplish one's own goals, or even something as prosaic as communicating, or explaining successfully your feelings to a loved one or directions to a tourist without difficulty or feeling frustrated. To set goals, you need to know which specific steps you need to take. So, for it to be as easy to accomplish as possible, you simplify by making bullet points or by making deadlines on your calendar that provide a clear understanding of the path ahead. The same applies to communicating with others or ourselves even. Speaking fewer and accurate words better the chances to transpire what we wish to be understood. When we choose the right words, or have a clear action plan on how to fulfill a resolution, it ultimately makes it more pleasant and easier to follow through. Therefore, at the end of last year, I set a goal for myself to work as hard and efficiently as I could in order to improve my art, not only by furthering my knowledge with consistent practice, but by also studying other artists' work. In doing so, I discovered that it is possible to convey illustrative art in a highly skillful yet minimalist way, mainly by translating a complex idea to its essential information. A writer will describe to you every element of the main character's favorite room. A friend will let you know on every detail about their most recent holiday, but a painter might leave out these little details purposely. On the one hand, the writer, the friend, and the painter all wish for you to understand their experience in a way you can almost feel yourself beside them. But when describing an element of a story or a memory, the writer and the friend are not seeking your personal experience. These are not relevant to what they already lived or know to be true. You only have to acknowledge the description and react to what already is. On the other hand, the painter can let you imagine and decide, much like when one looks at a cloud. This is because he transformed complex and even insignificant information into simple ways to interpret the object, making it easier for your eyes to know where to look and still understand it. Of course, I don't mean writers or our friends using significant information to convey a reality. The more detailed the main character's favorite room is, the more we get to know them to understand the rest of their story. The same applies to our friend's recollection. Of course we want to know all about it because they're our friend. What I am poorly trying to simply say is, I believe one can tell more by leaving less in a canvas, making it possible and easier to transport your own personal experiences and feelings onto someone else's art. You can heavily relate to an art piece that is much detailed, but it is not easy to find one that resonates with us on a deeper level. And if not by relating to the artwork, you can always admire how a complex object can be reduced to half the brushstrokes or to a single value without it losing its essence. How amazing is it to connect so deeply to something that is not ourselves, doesn't belong to us either, can even exist without us, yet we allow it to become something different, unique, something only we can see and relate to the way one does. Just like magic, our brain can visualize incomplete information that is not actually there. We are the subjectiveness of art, and our memories and personality are what a painter might want to use without truly ever knowing them, because it is us who unconsciously complete the painting. So, you can see how one can paint more with less, how simplifying can bring such value when masterfully executed. It is also important to recognize that a painter can love and lose themselves to detail. But like in everything, to achieve harmony, the painter must keep balance in mind, for too much or too little water can make any flower wither. As a final note, vital to what I wish for you to reflect on, is to not mistake simplicity with lack of imagination or easiness. Rather, simplicity is a very powerful and difficult skill to master. One must know the entire reality of a concept for it to be simplified beautifully. Instead of starting from nothing to everything, one must start from everything and take out all but the energy and the soul of the object. So, if you dare, I encourage you to craft something you know by heart and simplify it as much as possible. I believe it is a rather fun exercise, even if you are not planning on taking it any further. I truly hope that in all I said, something resonates with you, and if not, that is fine, and I thank you for being here. See you next week. Goodbye.